All right, soulmates, some Bank of America members are in a frenzy due to allegedly missing funds in their accounts due to an alleged outage impacting the systems of Bank of America and Zelle.
Ooh, customers have taken to social media to share their disbelief when they check their bank accounts right around January 18th, as 700 outages have already been reported. 90% of individuals have documented discrepancies with transferring funds via Zelle, and 8% of users are citing issues with accessing their Zelle account.
Microsoft is the latest tech company to announce a round of layoffs to the tune of 10,000 workers. The Microsoft CEO says that the company is, quote, seeing organizations in every industry and geography exercise caution as some parts of the world are in a recession and other parts are anticipating one. The cuts represent a little less than 5% of Microsoft's global workforce of 221,000 employees. The company began notifying affected workers this week and plans to complete the layoffs by Q3. According to the note, it was not clear which divisions would see cuts.
And R&B fans thought they'd be enjoying a music festival in the Dominican Republic this week, but instead, Solfest 2023 in Punta Cana was abruptly canceled. Now, according to the event website, festival headliners included New Edition, Jodeci, Luda, Ashanti, Anthony Hamilton. The Hard Rock Hotel in Punta Cana, where the event was to be held, posted a notice on its website that the event was canceled due to non-payment by organizers. Now, the festival promoter said the hotel decided to change the terms of the agreement at the last minute, leaving no room to react or comply. Before booking a destination festival, soulmates, you might want to check out the promoter with the Better Business Bureau and the United States Tourism Operators Association.
And speaking of cancellations, Amazon is ending its charity donation program. When customers make purchases through Amazon Smile, the company donates a percentage of purchases to the shopper's chosen nonprofit organization. Amazon has donated $500 million to charity since the program started in 2013. Now, executives say the program will be shut down by February 20th as a part of the company's cost-cutting efforts.
A lot of cost-cutting.
We hate to see it. I mean, for something called Amazon Smile, I mean, they might as well call it Amazon Frown.
At this point.
I mean, this is not good. That was a lot of money. And the fact that, customers elected, which nonprofit this would go to, and Amazon put a little bit on it. Amazon can afford to put a little bit on it.
Yeah,
they ain't hurting.
And I don't. And you think about these recent layoffs with an Amazon, with a Microsoft, with a lot of the big financial companies, and you're thinking these are supposed to be the big guys, the ones who do turn a profit, the ones who are solid, and it just appears as though they're preparing for whatever is coming economically. I know we're kind of hearing one thing on one side, one thing on the other, but when you pay attention to the tendencies of these corporations, it kind of gives you a hint of what they are projecting is to come. My brother is a top level executive at Microsoft, and that number is closer to 11,010. I texted him yesterday just to check in. He said it was a real tough day. So this is real life. It's trickling down to our everyday lives, and even a little bit later on in the show, we'll get to some stories where it is affecting just how we grocery shop and being able to afford the basics. So this is a real deal, and it is really something to really continue to pay attention to, because it is affecting everybody in their pockets.
And I also wonder, to what degree are we talking ourselves into a recession? By a lot of leading economic indicators, we are not in a recession, but I think just moves like this and more talk about anticipating, a recession. I wonder how much of that, is influencing consumer behavior, consumer attitudes, and making it easier for companies to, make the decision to implement, these mass layoffs. And so, we'll continue to.
Will. And then you got glitches like Bank of America. I just sent. We take care of our home here at my parents' home in Detroit. We kept it after they passed on, and so we send money via Zelle to pay bills. And I had to call and say, "Did you get this money?"
Yeah.
So come on, these glitches. People, money's tight. Don't mess with these folks' money. Let's get it right.
That's right.
All right, we're going to move on now. Speaking of prices, used cars are starting to drop according to the Consumer Price Index. Prices fell by 8.8% from December 2021 to December 2022. That is the biggest 12-month drop since June 2009. The main factor is due to the rising expense of financing a car because of the rising interest rates. Used car costs could continue to decline with more new cars hitting the market. That's it.
Prescription type 2 diabetes drug Ozempic is now being promoted as a weight loss miracle drug. However, the weight loss drug is sold under the name Wegovy and is meant to help those struggling with obesity. Still, Ozempic's manufacturer worries people are taking advantage and says it does not promote people to use it lightly. Pharmacists say there's a dark side to off-label use.
All right, here's the story on these prices. Soulmates, you might want to go easy on the butter until further notice. Margarine is up 44% and butter shot up 31.5% in the past year. Dairy farmers reduced their herds during the pandemic, which dropped the amount of milk to make the butter. Margarine producers blame the Russian invasion of Ukraine for disrupting production of main ingredients, which are vegetable oils from sunflowers or soybeans. Egg prices have jumped more than 18% in just the last month. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now, today, the national average cost of around $4.25 for a dozen large grade eggs. That's tripled since 2019.
And Courtney, in recent days, we've talked about the soaring cost of eggs and butter, and there's another breakfast staple that's more expensive as well. The cost of fresh squeezed orange juice hit an all-time high of $10 a gallon and $6.27 for a gallon of reconstituted orange juice. Orange growers in Florida are struggling after hurricane damage uprooted trees. Now the Agriculture Department predicts that the state's orange output to be nearly half of last year's total. California is expected to produce more oranges than Florida for the first time since, get this, World War II.
It is on and popping just to have a decent little breakfast, huh?
Right.
Butter.
You know, breakfast used to be one of the cheapest meals of the day, and now, it done caught up to lunch.
Dinner. I mean, really, we just talked about it. It's a hint and a half that, we're headed towards something, or we're already there, even though we get a lot of mixed signals from the folks who would call it or not call it a recession. But again, as your everyday consumer, as someone, who hits the supermarket a couple of times a week, you feel the difference. And, whether you're going to get it from our leaders, our legislators or not, you feel the difference, and you start to save, and you start to find different avenues and maybe even couponing to really stay ahead and to stay afloat. I saw a mom with her son, and they were in the dairy section, and she'd like to get, I guess because he's such a big eater, that the son's the 18 count of eggs.
Yeah.
And she, I'm gonna have to start charging y'all for breakfast. I don't know if they were home for the holidays or what, but I feel her pain.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I do. And speaking of feeling the pain, I feel the pain of the workers in Florida. My maternal grandmother, Addie Mae Thomas, worked on the assembly line at Tropicana Orange Juice for a number of years. And so I'm thinking a lot about the workers, at companies like Tropicana in Florida, whose work has been interrupted, not just by the severe storms, but now by orange trees being uprooted, and quite frankly not having enough oranges to process. And so let's keep everybody in our thoughts and prayers as we navigate these choppy waters.
Yeah, it could be so overwhelming because there's as far as what trickles out, there's so many people to think about and consider in this chain. It just gets a little overwhelming, but we just have to stay vigilant and continue to do our best to stay afloat, whether they give us the information or not. Still ahead, a father and son in business together to make their city shine.
That's right. We'll introduce you to these two men and show you how they're making a difference. You're watching FOXSOUL's Black Report.